The deus ex machina, a Latin phrase meaning providential intervention. If the ending of your story feels unearned or overly convenient or like magic, you can best be sure that's what this term was intended to describe. It comes from the idea that at the end of the play, the god shows up and rights all of the wrongs. A story ending that involves something inexplicable or unexpected, which usually requires a suspension of logic from the audience. Now that's more difficult when your character is operating on 5 different levels of high concept sci-fi nonsense and is effectively a narrative god, magically creating an unearned, easy finale. These are commonplace in science fiction. Some could argue Doctor Who is nothing but an ongoing series of Deus Ex Machinas, but what matters is that you as an audience feel satisfied with the conclusion. Sometimes that resolution skipping is thrown right in your face. Bill, think of your mum. Save the day with love. And other times, you may not even realise what's being passed by you. Like, how is Time Lord DNA able to travel along lightning bolts? That crucial fact is key to evolution of the Daleks, but nobody ever really questions it. And that's fine, because that doesn't feel like a transgression. Contrary to belief, I don't think the Deus Ex Machina has to be a derogatory term. It doesn't just mean bad resolution. It's very commonplace for sci-fi to have God from the machine moments. In some places, it kinda has to, and may even improve your story. I mean, what, are we just gonna call H.G. Wells, granddaddy of sci-fi, a hack now? Sorry, H.G., your novel ends with all the aliens dying all of a sudden. Bad book. Yeah, bad book, Wells. I don't think so. Today I want to analyse 5 of the most egregious examples I could think of, and try and explore what could have been done different, or why such a finale was implemented. Doctor Who, the TV movie, is a really quite standard affair that a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for, but will have no problem taking down a peg. This is a very easy piece of media to scrutinise. The ending is absolute Hollywood schmaltz. Very clearly, it's at odds with everything in the classic series, where the TARDIS brings back 2 of the dead companions? No. Acquaintances that the Doctor has met in the story, and yay, everyone's back, with no more explanation than, "You sentimental old thing." Wow, yeah, good throwaway line. That's not a luxury she spared for Adric. So, okay, a breach in your suspension of disbelief as a viewer. Fair enough. Why couldn't the TARDIS do this in every single adventure? And there we have a problem. Some ostensible fans have clamoured to the wiki and the canon and tried to find a lore reason how this could work, and maybe it's like the Doctor's regenerative energy, regenerating their bodies back to life. He is just freshly regenerated after all. But it's so clearly not what they were going for. And that's evident. The Doctor's 2 new dispensable friends are very much okay, because that's what you do at the ending of a happy Hollywood movie. Formula! So that's the why. But now let's tackle the how. Let's be productive. How could we change this dodgy part of the resolution? Well, number 1, but not put them in that situation in the first place. You don't have to do faux deaths for the sake of it, Moffat. If you want to show that there's sudden consequences to the Doctor's magical romantic adventures, then yeah, by all means, kill off Grace Holloway. I've known her for 50 minutes. But if you want a more conventional school of sacrifice, give it to Lee. He could do with a redemption arc. That'd be more palatable. But don't cop out in the final 15 minutes, my guy. Hey, if these guys had stayed dead, maybe we could have swerved that awkward kiss at the ending of the story. Get used to that. It's such an unnecessary corner to have to paint your way out of. Number 2. The novel Forever Autumn. Despite sounding like an Evanescence song, this is definitely one of the more pulpy, forgettable BBC books. It plays more like a Goosebumps novel than anything else, honestly. This is a resolution where the monster and the Doctor are in a standoff, and they want the thing, and the Doctor has the thing, and he's had the thing throughout the whole story. But then, now, in the finale, he just gives the enemy the thing. and it's booby-trapped. Right, so your plan involves giving the villains what they already wanted in the most dangerous, melodramatic way possible. Okay, you're also telling me this plot could have been solved 200 pages back. Just leave it on the floor, or pretend to drop it. Perhaps just give it to them. No, that's now 10 rolls. And it really just makes the entire book feel like a waste of your time. Now, this kind of ending feels like an undeveloped story. Sorry, Morris, it's just recognizable. This is a pattern that sometimes you get with Doctor Who. And when the plot isn't strong, how could the resolution be strong? There's not anything at stake. So it's just a switcheroo, or I did something clever. And it's like, okay, dude, I guess we've got to take your word for it. And that's fine, because Forever Autumn is more trying to sell you an aesthetic than a plot. But when you get such a gimmick ending, it reminds you that the entire plot has been unimportant. Stories based on technobabble don't usually have substance. Last of the Time Lords. A strong favourite of mine. I only have ever good things to say about Last of the Time Lords. Just kidding, it's Russell T Davies at its rare worst. Depending on Deus Ex Machina after Deus Ex Machina. It's a real 1-2-3 hit combo of high concept bullshit you have to accept by the end of this climax. God, where do we start? Martha's 4-piece weapon. She travelled the world assembling a weapon that could kill a Time Lord. And then they immediately dismiss this as being false because that sounds silly. And you're right, okay, Ross Davis, that did sound a bit silly. You got me. What's the actual resolution? Oh, well, we all use the power of prayer, and the Doctor gets psychic powers. Okay. At least they explained and they established that there was a psychic network around the planets, but we don't understand how this translates to the Doctor going Super Saiyan. I feel like there's a more restrained version of this finale that doesn't have to put David Tennant on a harness, and that's perhaps all of humanity hacks into a psychic network and does a feedback loop, putting the drum beats back into the Master's head, amplified by billions that could temporarily drive his mania against him, incapacitating him so the Doctor can save the day. It would be less showy and actually use his weakness against him. And then comes the magic button. And that's so much worse. An undo button, if you will, that rewinds the world to a year prior. Now, you've got the TARDIS, mysteriously called as some kind of paradox machine. I get that. That's a good thing to use. But what if the Doctor had just used the paradox machine to open up a parallel world? Perhaps get him, Jack and the Joneses to a good timeline that the Master hasn't ruined. It's a very Rick and Morty twist, and I understand that parallel dimensions have been locked off, but considering Rusty Davies loves incorporating past elements and upping the stakes every season, I don't think that would have been that far-fetched. It's not as if you can pick and choose which parallel dimension you end up in. Sorry, Rose. But on the other hand, maybe the paradox machine set their world back to normal, but it carried lasting stakes that carried on through perhaps the next season. In the past, when the Doctor has messed with time, there will be ramifications for it, chasing him in the stories ahead. And as long as you just pay it off with punishment, I think you can break the rules as much as you like in a show like Doctor Who. There just has to be that punishment there. Now, I understand that you cannot ravage the Earth for a year. A time skip is such an unbelievably big jump in logic and causality, as Marvel will soon find themselves learning. Sometimes it's a mistake to do. So you do have to get the Earth back to like relative norm by the time you come round to Donna Noble. And I appreciate that, so I understand why this leap in logic was made. Russell does love his Deus Ex Machinas, but that's fine, because we love him. Number 4, the power of 3. This one's just boring. The Doctor shows up, waves a sonic screwdriver around, waves it around a bit more, wags it up and down, and the day's absolutely 100% saved top from bottom. Hey, who wrote this one, I wonder? Oh, that makes sense. Chibnall's new obsession with, I love Masonic, is just a little bit embarrassing, and it can definitely hold back as storytelling. I don't think anything more needs to be said. Personally, I'm fine with the Sonic, because any way you look at it, it is a plot device magic wand. But the important thing is it going to help us save 20 minutes of hacking a door, or is it going to resolve the central conflict? In this one, it's the latter. Weak ending to an otherwise great story. And lastly, Season 9's Sleep No More is a very strange one, because on the surface it seems as if the Doctor has left a story unresolved. But then when you really think about it, the plot kind of resolves itself with no need for the Doctor to have even shown up. Because iDust is fucking iDust. This one might just be me. With so little direction and embarrassment to be in the story Sleep No More, the Doctor just up and leaves the story. And then we as an audience have to confront the ending, which is a scary ghost story. Be scared of sleepy dust, children. No. I'll tell you why I'm not scared of, eye dust in my eye when I wake up from a sleep. Because I deal with it every day. Because aliens, if they are invading the world through sleep, are doing a terrible job of it. We don't have to resolve the plot, Doctor, because the problem is so weak and lame, it solves itself. Thank you for watching. This was really, really fun. I'll probably do the same with the classic series if you guys liked it. If you didn't like it, I guess I've got to leave. Deleting my channel in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!